Welcome back. Cindy Dole here with Eric Stromer.
I'm here and loving it.
Home Wizards is on the road. We're at the Dwell on Design event, and I hope that if you have your refrigerator on, that everything's cold inside there, not hot.
I always leave mine open accidentally.
Oh,
yeah.
you're one of those.
Yes.
You're as bad as your kids
Yes.
then, right? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about innovation when it comes to refrigerators. They've, I guess, been trying to improve refrigerators since the 70s and the 80s, but they keep getting smarter and more energy efficient. But wait till you hear what LG Electronics is up to. Brent Cunningham, we decided Richie's uncle is here, right?
That's right.
Great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And you are a product specialist. You've been in the appliance world for years.
Correct.
So when you think of a refrigerator, I mean, you probably have seen the refrigerator evolve quite a bit over the past decade.
Absolutely.
20 years.
Absolutely.
Too, right?
Absolutely.
What made it bad 20 years ago versus how it is today? Just the good old refrigerator.
Appliances in general have become much more design-driven over the years. Originally, they were very functional. The quality of the product was good, but the longevity of the product wasn't necessarily so good. The design wasn't so good. The capacity wasn't so good. Refrigerators today require a lot less energy than the ones 20 years ago or even 5 years ago.
And why is that?
The electronics technology has improved dramatically. Also, we've gotten smarter about how we do things. People are much more aware of the energy usage than they were in the past. LG actually launched in all of its refrigerators a linear compressor in the last year or so, which uses dramatically less energy. It also wears out much less frequently. So we actually provide a 10-year warranty on the linear compressor. It's much more efficient, lasts longer, and it's much more a better value to the consumer.
Mm-hmm. And now you guys have what you're calling it's larger than a house, the biggest refrigerator, right?
It's the largest refrigerator in its class.
But Brent, it still is a traditional size, correct?
It is a
on the exterior dimension.
It is a
So
traditional
what's the
size.
secret? What have you done to make it so
It's a built-in
spacious?
It's a built-in refrigerator. It's 42 inches wide, but has a 26.5 cubic foot capacity, which is enormous for that size footprint refrigerator.
And then compared to what a traditional fridge would be?
Anywhere from 18 to 23 or 24.
Oh, that's a huge difference.
And this is a built-in refrigerator, so it actually complements the high-end professional style cooking products.
You mean in terms of the depth of it?
Correct.
Yeah,
it's much shallower.
Yeah.
It's only counter depth.
Right.
The way that we accomplish the increased capacity is a couple of things.
Wait a minute. That's a trade secret.
Ah, you're right. Actually, we talk about it. I'm allowed. They won't have to shoot me today.
Okay.
But a couple of basic things. The increased insulation in the walls. We use a vacuum sealed insulation, so we've actually reduced the thickness of the outside wall, so we get more capacity inside. And also with the linear compressor and a few other options that we have, you're allowed to bring the ice machine outside the inside of the freezer and put it on the door. It takes up less space. So it's basic things like that, but it dramatically increases the space.
So you get all that additional freezer area where the ice maker used to be. Oh,
correct.
And you have a wine cooler in there too, don't you?
You can
That's
use it.
so important.
You can use it for anything.
Can you store your beer in there? We were talking about beer making.
Absolutely.
I love beer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So have you figured out a way to not lose the cold air when the door opens? That's what I'm wondering.
That's the hard part.
When Eric is opening the
That's
door.
right.
That's the hard part. But the great thing is with the linear compressor, it actually recoups much quicker. So
does it?
It's not as big an issue as it once was.
Yeah.
So now are we thinking that design is driven by the ecology on the planet, trying to save our natural gases, or is it more driven toward design?
I think it's a combination of both. I think people
and saving money too, our utility bills.
Correct. The kitchen over the years has become the heart of the home. I mean, people talk about entertaining in their kitchen much more frequently than they ever did before. So the look of the appliance is much more important than it used to be. The kitchens used to be a place where they only cooked. Now it's a place where you entertain. So the esoterics need to be improved, but the quality and the capacity on the refrigeration needs to be improved.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the temperature setting of the refrigerator, this thing is always baffling to me.
Right.
I mean, it feels like I set my temperature and then automatically it goes to zero.
Right.
What's the proper temperature to set your refrigerator at for your food?
It really depends on how often you're using the refrigerator.
Uh-huh.
If you have very few times you're opening the freezer door during the day, you can actually have the freezer compartment slightly higher. 0 in the freezer is usually preferable, and on the refrigerator, anywhere from 40 to 43 degrees is probably about right.
So 0's for the freezer, but the refrigerator should not be at
40
0.
40 to 43 degrees.
Brent, I tried to make eggs today, and it was frozen. What's wrong? What's happening?
What's wrong with
Really?
it?
What's happening?
The
yeah,
eggs
it
are
really
frozen?
was. Is it that the kids leave the door open and then it overcompensates or something?
It can. It also has to do with the predetermined settings from the manufacturer. Most refrigerators, when they come out of a box, are preset, and you have to go in and make adjustments. And every manufacturer is slightly different. So if you want to change the settings on your refrigerator, the best thing to do is use the use and care manual. pull it out of the box.
Wait.
Pull it out of the box.
You're asking me to
Yeah.
read a
Yeah,
manual?
Correct. Very few people do, but that's the best place to go to.
Okay,
All right.
great.
What is the price range of the new refrigerator?
The new 42-inch built-in refrigerator is going to sell somewhere around $79.99, just under $8,000 for the refrigerator.
I thought you were going to say $79.
No. Just under $8,000.
All right, and tell me about the app that you have, that LG has. Is it going to really help us know
Absolutely.
when we have to get a repair for our really?
Absolutely. And it's not just in the refrigerators at this point. We also, all of our laundry products and all the LG dishwasher products also have this
So what do you
smart
do?
diagnosis. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's an electronic capacity. It's an application that's built into the machine that if something goes wrong with the machine, you can call our customer service department. They tell you a code to punch in, and I hold your mobile phone or your remote phone up to the machine, and it will transmit
So it's a
diagnostic,
diagnostic, really?
And that way the
And it
customers
talks to you and says, I'm
correct.
sick.
It
I
says,
need a
I'm
new
broken. This is what I
coil."
need. And what the great thing about that is,
Oh my God.
it is.
It's
But
amazing.
the great thing about that is now when somebody has to come and fix it, they can come with the right parts. So it's not a 3 or 4 day process. They can come out the same day or next day and take care of it.
That's
All right,
huge.
so then on the flip
Yeah.
side of fixing your refrigerator,
Right.
how long should we keep our refrigerator? Because there's a big push now. I mean, I think it's probably changed because
Right.
as they've become more efficient, they
Right.
probably last longer and
Right.
better. But I mean, is an 8-year-old refrigerator of today too old?
The technology is obviously not up to date.
Yeah.
The energy usage is going to be much higher.
So we're going to be seeing it on our monthly utility
You do,
bills.
you do.
yeah?
But realistically, a quality refrigerator like an LG built-in refrigerators, it should last. Really, is capable of lasting for 20 years plus. The question becomes, are you willing to pay the additional cost and energy usage to keep an older refrigerator? How often do you really want to change it?
Yeah, but the rebates, we still have the energy rebates,
Absolutely.
right? How long does that last? Do you know?
I'm not
Another
sure what
year?
the end dates are, and they also vary by state. There's other state rebates as well as other
Yeah.
rebates. So I'm not really sure, but I think that most of them are still good to the end of this year.
All right. Well, you guys have so much going on. Are there any other new innovations that you have showing here today at the Dwell and Design event?
LG's showing the entire Studio Series line. So the Studio Series line is a suite of products, professional products that's really the best of LG. So please come by and see it.
Can I just upgrade Brent from product specialist to sexiest man in refrigeration? Is that wrong?
Well, he's hot and he's cold is what you mean, right? And in terms of being a smarter shopper or consumer for a refrigerator, I mean, I know that if we turn to someone like you, when you're right there at the showroom or wherever you go to shop for appliances, they're
Right.
going to help you. But in terms of doing research, I mean, I always tell people to go to consumerreports.org. You know, they test things out. You get a sense of what's new, what's hot, and what's not. But what else would you advise, or maybe 2 or 3 things that we should look for? Because the refrigerators, they kind of all look alike. I mean, all these appliances, I mean, they're pretty, they're different colors. And then what? They're stainless steel.
There's multiple colors. I mean, Consumer Reports is absolutely a great location. Also, Energy Star sites, because some units are Energy Star certified, some are not. And in today's economy, everybody wants to try to do the best they can for the ecology and for their pocketbook.
And what is there a new hot color for a refrigerator these days? I mean, is stainless steel still?
Stainless steel
yeah.
is still by far the preferable choice, by far.
Yeah. And are you seeing a lot of folks that want to have their refrigerator look more like an armoire? I mean, is that still the trendy thing, or is that
It is.
becoming like, you know, we're moving on? It's not.
You see that in a lot of cases with very traditional homes, and you also see it in some contemporary homes. But yeah, it's still a trend. It's still a very hot trend, and I think it'll last for a long time.
And then what's the future in refrigeration? Where are we going? What's happening there?
I think personally, I think the next big step is going to be the technology-driven companies like an LG. LG is very much an electronics company as much as an appliance company, so we're on the leading edge of innovations. The smart home, where you can actually go in and control all your appliances remotely from your laptop or from your iPad. There's been conversation about that for years, but the technology's never gotten in touch with it. We're there now. I think you'll see that happening in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years.
All right,
Fantastic.
cool. How can people see more about this? Like at lgusa.com
Correct.
is a good website.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
And you can also just go online and search for Studio Series.
Excellent.
Very well. All right. Thank you, Brent. Good
Thank
to
you.
talk to you. Brent Cunningham with LG. How old is your refrigerator, by the way?
It's
Eric?
obviously too old. I need an LG refrigerator right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's got to be at least 5 years old. Yeah, and I just don't have the stuff. And this thing he's talking about has always been, for me, when you get those counter depth refrigerators, they're not as the capacity's not as large. This solves all those problems. I think it's a great